This presentation is entitled Hinduism and Spiritual Unfoldment and was given at the Lubbock, Texas Satsang Mandal on February 26, 2012. Our first section draws on the idea of man's essential divinity, focusing on its unfoldment. The Hindu viewpoint is that the seed of divinity is within everyone. My guru's guru, Sivaya Subramuniyaswami of Sri Lanka, had a down-to-earth way of expressing this idea. He said, "See everyone as God. Don't say this man is a robber, that one is a womanizer, the man over there a drunkard. This man is God, that man is God. God is within everyone. The seed is there. See that, and ignore the rest." It is definitely reassuring to know that there is no one who isn't a divine being, that no one ends up in an eternal hell. Rather, it's just a question of when an individual's divine essence will express itself. It may be a few more lives before it does. After all, spiritual unfoldment is a slow and inexorable process. My own Guru Sivaya Subramuniyaswami chose an insightful analogy for the process of spiritual unfoldment, which in Sanskrit is called Adhyatma Vikasa. He spoke about the lotus, how its seed starts in the pond's dark mud. Its roots give rise to a stem that reaches up through the water into the air. From the stem evolves a bud, tiny at first, which grows into a flower that slowly opens its exquisite petals to the sun, the central nectar, and pollen calling to the bees. Gurudeva compares that process to man's nature and spiritual unfoldment. The mud is the instinctive mind. We all start out in the mud in one lifetime or another. In our early evolution, we are crude and unkind. We tend to hurt other people and think more of ourselves than others. Maybe we even end up in jail. We all start down there in the roots, immersed in the darkness of the instinctive mind, crashing around like a wild bull. Life follows life as we live and learn. Finally, we get some control over our instincts and move up into the water, which is the intellectual mind. We become a thinking person, someone who is able to make decisions logically, someone who has basic control over the instinctive emotions so that when threatened, he or she doesn't automatically become angry and fight. At this point, we are an instinctive intellectual person, living partly in the mud of our animal nature, partly in the water of our intelligence. Such a person has no sense of God and the sacredness of life. The world is full of people like that, the atheists, materialists, and existentialists. They have no spiritual roadmap and are totally unaware of the divine purpose of life, a purpose that goes beyond this incarnation. Then what happens? The stem rises above the water's surface into the air, which represents intuition, our spirituality, or some sense of the existence of God. We start to think about religion. We start to think about spiritual practices. Just being an instinctive and an intellectual person pursuing ordinary things, worldly goals, no longer satisfies us. But the bud is closed, yet to mature and open. The closed bud knows God is out there, but has no direct experience of Him. What causes the bud to open? learning and maturing life after life, grace of enlightened beings, blessings of the deity, and spiritual practice. To open the bud, we have to consciously strive. Hinduism gives us religious practices that can be grouped into 4 categories. The first is simply good conduct, character building. It is the foundation for deeper practices. Second is selfless service, seva or karma yoga, doing things for other people we don't have to do. That's how I define it. If in our place of work we do something for someone else, out of the goodness of our heart, that counts as seva. Seva doesn't have to be done at a temple or an ashram. If we go to work and only do what we're paid for, no seva is taking place. The third category of practice is devotion, bhakti, which we express at a temple as well as at the shrine we have in our own home. Maintaining a home shrine and worshiping there daily is an essential practice. The fourth is meditation, jhana. Meditation is a bit advanced and requires a teacher's help to do well at. Most people I speak with say, I try and meditate, but I can't control my thoughts. They don't have a teacher. They haven't had someone personally explain the art of meditation to them. It's an unusual person who can learn meditation by himself. Thus, the 4 categories of practice are good conduct, service, devotion, and meditation. What happens when you perform some of these practices regularly? The bud slowly opens. Your divinity blossoms as unenlightened thinking gradually fades in the light of superconsciousness. Many Western ideas and goals are based on the underlying belief that there is only one life, or there may be only one life. We had better achieve God realization in this life just in case. The Hindu attitude, based on the confidence that we have many lives, is, I know I'm coming back, sometimes as a man, sometimes as a woman, no rush. I will do as much as I can in this lifetime, and after that there will be ample time for further advancement. The Hindu approach is to make spiritual progress in every life cycle. Open the bud a little bit more. We are content to move forward by consistent practice, with whatever intensity we can sustain without rushing, without fear of falling short. We have infinite time and take confidence that the seed of divinity already resides within each of us. Hinduism takes that idea one step further. Eventually, each of us will have the realization of God, our indwelling self. We become the lotus in full blossom. Svetasvatara Upanishad says, He who with the truth of Atman, the soul unified, perceives the truth of Brahman as with a lamp, who knows God, the unborn, the stable, free from all forms of being, is released from all fetters.